Hello viewers, you are welcome to another exciting episode of Youth Empowerment Series. Today we have a special guest, our own person, Dr. Ama Mensah. She is also known as Ama AI. In fact, she's the first AI nurse in Ghana. She's a public health nurse at the Parental Polyclinic. Ama D has a YouTube channel that is for health education, and the name is Amadi Health Hub. I will entreat everyone to check on it and subscribe to it and see the good things she's doing there so that we can all help ourselves. At the end of these recordings, I'm going to pin her YouTube link at the description section so that we can all check it out and join in what she's doing. Ama, you are welcome to today's talk show. We are glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Our long-awaited topic, importance of sleep. This topic was scheduled to happen long before this time, but I'm glad today we are finally pulling it off. So let's start with what sleep is. What will you say sleep is? What is sleep?
Okay, thank you very much for having me, and my shout out to all your viewers as well, wherever they are. I would want to extend my greetings to them. So we are talking about an essential activity that most of the time, as a people, we trivialize. Looking at what is going on now, you would hear phrases like "sleep is for the weak." But the truth of the matter is that sleep is very important, just like you waking up during the day and going about your daily activities. Sleep is also very important. So when we are looking at sleep holistically, we are looking at a period where, or an essential period where your body is at rest. Your body is at rest to restart itself. And so what your body actually goes through is that during sleep, your bodies will repair itself. If there is anything that you consume during the day, anything you learned during the day, anything that happened during the day, it is during sleep that your body processes. So it will look as if that when you are sleeping, you're not doing anything, but your body is also going through its own process. At this stage, you're not engaging it mentally, but it is going through its own processes to replenish any worn out tissue, trying its best to boost some moods and all that, just so you wake up refreshed. So in a nutshell, I would say that it is an essential or our body's natural way of resetting its buttons.
Great. That's right. So why is sleep important? You have alluded to some of them, but let's look at the benefits of sleep.
I would, since it's this program is channeled or focus on an adolescent, I would want us to pay particular attention to something. And I would be glad if parents and then teachers especially also have this video to watch to educate ourselves as adults. We sometimes think that as students, when it is during exams or it is during your academic life that you need to, do away with sleep or sacrifice your sleep just so you can get a good grade. But for you to even concentrate in class, have a very good level of concentration, you need the optimum sleep that your body would need to refresh itself. So your level of concentration will be based on the number of hours that you are able to sleep. Also, I made mention of the fact that your mood, sleep has a way of improving your mood. So your mood is also very important. Otherwise, you would wake up, and sometimes we meet people who are easily irritated, and we might think that, oh, maybe a thing or two, maybe they don't have money and all that. But if you delve deep into it, it could be that they are depriving their bodies of sleep. So your mood is even bent on your number of hours that you sleep or the sleep that you give to your body. And then also your immunity. If you sleep well, it boosts your immunity because there are some hormones that will be released into your body whilst you are sleeping, while you are giving the body that optimum rest that it needs, that would help you to your immunity to boost so that you wouldn't be exposed to any opportunistic infection. So it is very important. And then also like I said, I am so much concerned about the level of concentration for students. So teachers, parents, in as much as this afternoon, I have had a lot of calls. I'm making a lot of calls because I'm trying to find a very good school for my nephew. And
Okay.
I am guilty because I don't understand why he slept during the BC time. Like, why did you sleep? But going through my researching about sleep and all that, I was like, well, as adolescent, research has said that their body biologically has a way of working when it comes to sleep. We would want them to stay awake early in the days to learn, but the body naturally would want to sleep at some point in time or some point in time of the day. So I think before we even end this, I can give him the benefit of the doubt that it was the body doing its own natural things. I mean, you can't cheat nature.
Mhm.
Yeah, so basically that is what I would say when it comes to the importance of sleep.
Mm, mm, mm. Yes, and I just want to add on to the focus aspect. So, in fact, the major importance of sleep, as you said, and I'm just adding on, is for maintenance of brain. In my readings, they liken the brain activity during sleep to a librarian who will be sorting out books and then shelving them at the end of the day. So, what I came across, which was intriguing to me, is that the brain during sleep, that's the time it reorganizes and consolidates all the information and whatever was learned during the day. It reorganizes and consolidates it well and shelve it well so that later, if you want to do any recalling of whatever information you want or learned is easier. So in as much as we want our students to sit up during exams time or during learning time,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they have to sleep. It's just that we have to ensure that they sleep at the right time and wake up at the right time. Some stay up
Sure.
unnecessarily long, not doing anything
Mm-hmm.
much, probably back on social media will get there, not really learning, and sleep late. And at
Mm-hmm.
4:35, maybe they have to wake up. And if the person slept
And
at
learn.
12 and is waking up at 5, how many hours of sleep is that? You would think the person might have slept a lot because as a student waking up at 5 is late. But then if he or she slept late, it just negates everything. So they have to sleep well and then wake up refreshed to function well. Not even for students, Amma, even those of us who are workers,
Mm-hmm.
we need good sleep to go to work and function well. You and I are health workers and any other work. You don't sleep well, you go to work, like you said, you'll be all over. So sleep is
Irritated.
important for everyone, students, workers, adults, everyone alike. Thank you.
Sure.
So let's look at how much sleep. So now we are talking about adolescent, the youth. How much in your readings? What did you find? How much sleep did they say our youth, adolescents need? What did you find in
Okay.
your? Because someone will be asking, I just said someone may sleep at 12 and wake up at 5. Waking up at 5 for a student may be late because if you have to get to
Mm-hmm.
school at 7, 6:30,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you live, waking up at 5 is
Especially
late
when you're
for a
in
student.
Accra, you can't joke with the traffic
Exactly.
situation in
So if
Accra.
you're a student in Atlanta and you're waking up at 5, it's late. But then what time did you sleep? You see? So you have to work your way backwards. So in your readings, what did you find for adolescent? What do you think is the time? Usually it's a range. I don't know what you found. I also found something.
Okay. So primarily, like you said, we can't compare the number of hours that adolescents are supposed to sleep to that of adults. And so for the adolescents and then the young adults, um, research has said that they would have um, 8 to 10 hours of sleep. When I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that's a lot of sleep. That's a very long hours of
Hmm.
sleep. But then it is because their brain is not that developed well, especially with the frontal lobe that is needed for critical thinking. It's not developed that well. And so sleep is very important for the brain function, like you just said. So 8 to 10 hours. And I will go back to what you said. It would depend on the time that you slept. So you should also consider the time that you will sleep so that you can have that quality sleep hours that we just mentioned.
Yeah, that's true. I also came across 8 to 10 hours for adolescent, and I also came across that those who are younger will need more hours. We know adolescents start from 10 to 19, so it means the younger ones, those who are 9 years and below, will even need more sleep. They will be tilting towards the 10 hours and more. And as we grow as adults, I came across one literature that said adults like us, 25 years and above, we can do the 8 hours is still always the ideal averagely, but we can do 7 to 9 hours. So it's a range. So 7 to 9 hours for adult means you can do the 8 hours. It means the minimum sleep you should even get as an adult should be 7 hours. If you are doing less than 7 hours, it's not good. So that's what we found. Let's all take note of it. So now that we know the number of hours that are required to allow us function optimally, what are some of the negative consequences for us when we don't have adequate sleep? So here we are talking about adequate and quality. It's not just sleeping. For us, having adequate and quality sleep. Adequate means we get the number of hours that we are supposed to get. And quality means, you can sleep for the 8 hours, but during that time, your sleep is being interrupted by noise or something, and that affects the quality. So what are some of the negative effects if we don't get adequate and quality sleep?
Okay, so when I was defining sleep, I made mention of the fact that it has a way of boosting your immunity. And so if you deprive your body of that opportunity, it can affect your immunity. And when your immunity is affected, it has a way of affecting you physically, in that there can be any opportunistic infection thriving in your body. And so physically, you will not be healthy. There are people that every now and then they are falling sick, and it is not because of anything, it is because they are depriving themselves of adequate sleep, like you mentioned. And so physically, you depriving yourself of quality sleep has an impact, on negative impact on you. And then again, also your brain is also working. If you're able to give it that adequate sleep that it needs, it helps it to refresh as a student. And so if you are not able to do that, it will affect you academically, in that you will not be able to concentrate in class. And I have noticed that about me, even as an adult, because I have a challenge sleeping. And so sometimes in class, instead of me to concentrate, I will have a lot running in my mind. And so it affects your attention span and your concentration and everything. So it can affect you academically. But as an adult, you find your way of,
Adjusting.
escaping that academic year. But for the adolescent, they might not be so smart to deal with it. And so if you're an adolescent and you are watching this, if you are really, really interested in getting the good grades, then do not deprive yourself of adequate sleep. And also your emotional regulation. We made mention of the fact that if you don't have adequate sleep, you can become irritable. The slightest thing, you become irritated, and it can even exceed to become depressive, in that your mood is not that good enough. So the slightest thing gets to you. Our brain is in such a way that it is supposed to give us the coping mechanisms, but it only happens when you've been able to give it that opportunity to refresh itself. And so if you've not done that, then the slightest thing, because you've not been able to adapt any coping mechanisms for yourself, it can easily sway you into depressive mood or even anxiety. You'll be everywhere. You were not able to sleep. You didn't concentrate in class, and now exams is coming and you are everywhere. So it has a way of affecting your emotions as well. And then also when we come to, if your emotions are affected, it has a way of affecting your relationship with people, not just boy, girl, but even your relationship with your parents, your siblings, because the slightest thing, you are angry. You don't want anybody in your business. And people will think that, oh, what's your, it might not necessarily be that what's your, and I say, and I say, all those adjectives that we will use to describe people. But it would be because you've not been able to give yourself that adequate sleep that you need. And like I mentioned, mental health issues is also a very key impact, negative impact here. So these are some of the negative impacts that I would mention. Thank
Great,
you.
great, great, great. So in my readings, I realized they try to divide it into short-term and long-term effects. So you've mentioned, I mean, most of them. So short-term is like, if I didn't sleep well last night, if I wake up today, the effect I have as of today. So you've mentioned them. So they have fatigue. They talk about fatigue. So you are just feeling tired because you didn't sleep well. You have difficulty in focusing. You mentioned it. Those are immediate things you experience when you wake up the next day. You tend to have headache. Your head will be bashing you and feeling heaviness in the head. I mean, I've experienced it before, so I know. And when you are having headache with heaviness, why won't you be irritable? Your head is bashing you and it's feeling heavy. You don't want people to even talk to you, so that
Sure.
leads to the irritability and all those depressive moods. So bad mood is here. And then they talked about something called micro sleep.
Okay.
So those are periods when the brain goes to sleep briefly, only to snap back awake. I'm sure you've experienced it. And it becomes dangerous if you are driving or working with machines. And the driving usually happens when you stop at what you call traffic. When the traffic stop, that brief moment you are standing, if you don't take care, you just fall asleep. And the next thing you hear is that they are honing on you. You are supposed to go, and that can be dangerous. Or working with machines. So you get that micro sleep because you didn't sleep well at night. And that's a very dangerous situation you don't want to find yourself in. Impulsive behavior, you reduce it. So these are immediate things you experience the next day if you don't sleep well. Then the long-term effects, one can get hypertension, one can become diabetic, dementia, cognitive impairment. These are long-term effects. So when people don't sleep over and over, and it becomes a pattern. Some people are like, oh, me, if I sleep for 4 hours, I'm okay. If I sleep for 5 hours, I'm okay. You have made that your sleep duration, which is not the right thing to do. Long-term, after some years, the person might not have come down with diabetes or hypertension. It probably doesn't run in their family, but at random, you get people developing hypertension or diabetes or dementia, cognitive impairment, because they have deprived themselves of sleep in the long term. And then people even begin to hallucinate. That's where the mental health thing you mentioned comes in, because the brain is not able to coordinate well. It's not able to process the information around it well, make sense of anything. So people begin to feel or see or hear things that are not real, all because they have deprived themselves of sleep for a long time. So those are some of the long-term effects too. And I had not looked at it that way. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, this sleep thing is very serious. We have to really do some medication on it. Thank you. So what is making our youth not sleeping, Amma? So we have looked at the negative consequences. Why are they not sleeping? Why are they not sleeping? I'm sure one of them is that they are ignorant. They don't know. They don't know the negative effects. If they knew, they would sleep.
But
Good.
the ignorance is being fueled by some other activities.
Good.
I believe that if those activities are not there, they would have still maybe, found sleep to be something worthy. So, like we've been mentioning, we've been talking about academics. So adolescents, they are in the school going age. And so most of the time, the pressure from school. In fact, this morning when I called my nephew, I was on him that when the opportunity comes for him to go to SHS, I don't want to see any bad grades. So if I've mounted this pressure on you, then definitely you would want to deprive yourself of sleep just so you can make your auntie proud. You understand? So stress from grades also has a way of, depriving you, or you depriving yourself from getting the adequate sleep that you need. And now the use of phones, which even we adults are guilty of. We are so addicted to our phones. We are so addicted to our laptops and all that. And so most of the time you find us there, we would want to, and social media has been engineered in such a way that because your mind would want to see things in sequence, now they are developing the apps in such a way that you keep pressing to the extent that if you are watching something that is static, you would not enjoy. You would want something that is moving, that can help you to be scrolling. And so technology is also, having an impact on us. It is helping us to deprive ourselves of adequate sleep. And then also we look at our social media life. You go on social media and you see all sorts of things that is engaging your mind to the extent that you don't even want to do anything. Sometimes you forget to even eat, talk less of sleep. By the time you realize, you say, oh, let me go on TikTok for like 30 minutes to just, look through one or two videos. By the time you realize, it is almost 2 a.m. And like she said, if you are sleeping at 2 a.m., what time are you going to wake up? Then also as students, sometimes they would want to stay awake to learn, so they will consume some amount of caffeine or coffee or anything that contains caffeine for them to stay awake. It's also a way of depriving yourself. For me personally, that thing has never worked for me. It rather makes me sleep. Yeah, it rather makes me sleep. So yeah, it rather makes me sleep. So it doesn't work for me. I'm someone who loves to sleep. Naturally, I love to sleep.
That's good.
But when you want to stay awake on campus, I would see some people drinking some teas, all those things, just so they can deprive themselves of sleep, because naturally they can't, stay awake on their own. And then sleep is in such a way that it's like clay. How you mold it is how you will get it. And so if you are able to give it some particular pattern, that is how it would follow.
Yeah.
So if you are someone that I think is 21 days or so, if you are able to sleep at a particular time for 21 days or so, your body would now understand that this is the time that I have to sleep. And so when you are able to go through that pattern, or if you don't have that regular pattern, it has a way of distorting your sleep. And so you need that regular schedule. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to sleep. So these are some of the things that I think is depriving us or preventing us from having that adequate sleep that our body needs.
Great. So I want to pick up from where you talked about your your nephew or niece going to school and will have to stay up and study. It's all about time management. It's all about time management. A lot of time, the young ones waste their time during the daytime on unnecessary things. You understand? They waste their time on unnecessary things. Then at night, they feel that's the time they should sit up and burn the midnight oil. But during the daytime, they can manage their time such that they do most of the things they have to do. And when they have to sleep, they sleep. I think most of the secondary schools, sleeping hours is a bedtime. Lights out is usually around 9 o'clock, 9:30. I don't think any school sleep part goes to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock would have been late. Most of the time it's 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9:30. So you sleep at 9 o'clock, 9:30, you wake up like 4:30. Yes, you would have had a fair amount of good sleep. Yeah, so I think the boarding house even tries, unless those that don't have discipline. But schools that have discipline, the school I attend, the light out is light out. You don't wake up until rising bell. So it forces you to sleep for certain number of hours. At home is where maybe the challenge should come in. And that is where I will continue my point from supervision. I think one of the reasons why our young ones are not sleeping is that we, the parents or guardians, are not supervising our young ones, because children, for lack of a better, they are not children. Young ones will always be young ones. Adolescents will, like we've said it over and over, even their prefrontal cortex is not developed well to even let them take that rational decision. So they are supposed to be guided. So as parents, we are supposed to ensure that when the adolescent is supposed to be sleeping, or when the young one is supposed to be sleeping, he or she is sleeping. If we don't supervise them, they will do anything they want. Honestly, human being, and the reason why people travel abroad and they do all the right things, they would have come from Africa where they break all the laws. But when they get to the Western world, they will do all the right things because there are structures, there are systems in place, there are rules that monitor what they do. It's the same thing in the house. If every child is the same, if you don't monitor your child, if you don't supervise your child, that child will do all the bad things you can think of. But when the child knows that you are supervising and monitoring, they will do the right thing. So parents should supervise or monitor their children as to when they sleep and when they are supposed to be awake. It's one of the reasons why they don't sleep. We don't monitor them. Also, they tend to have, some tend to have minimal outdoor activities. So that will come back to addiction to the screen. So these children don't participate in outdoor activities much. So all the time they are indoors and it's screen, screen, screen. Then it leads to the addiction and they won't leave it to sleep. The outdoor activities also even brings another advantage of them even working out their bodies and getting tired. So participating in outdoor activities, by the time you come inside, come home, sleep time, your body is already tired and ready to sleep. So you let a child take a break from screen and he still wake up his body in a way that will be ready to sleep when it's sleep time. So minimal outdoor activity is also one of them. And then our young ones, even with the adults, we sit and watch the television and be on our device till we are about sleeping. And we know about the blue light that tends to disrupt the sleep when we have to sleep. So in my readings, what I came across was that 1 hour to your sleep time, we are supposed to put our devices, our television, our electronics away so that the blue light doesn't distract our sleep when we are about sleeping. So those are some of the things I think contribute to our young ones not sleeping, plus what you said. Great. So let's look at how, because this is a shared responsibilities, what are some of the steps the young ones, youth, adolescents, young people, what are some of the steps they are supposed to take to ensure that they will sleep? We've talked about supervision from there, but that's from their parents' side. They themselves have responsibilities. What are they supposed to do to make sure they sleep before their parents to even come in?
All right. So it will be very important for them to make their rooms. I personally cannot sleep on beds that have crumpled bed sheets. I don't know, naturally, it gives me bad dreams. So I think I don't have OCD, but when it comes to laying of bed, I just like it. And I find it so relaxing when I enter my room and I see my bed laid. I think that is why I love to sleep. So making your room sleep friendly has a way of inducing the sleep that you need. So lay the bed, arrange the pillows, find some nice sheets, arrange the things in your room, because a clustered room too will not induce sleep. So arrange the things too well. And you are young, add some fancy things that will just help you to sleep well. Maybe you can, I love to sleep with just a beat or something, like cool beats or something playing on the background. So I'll just play something like that. So anything to make the sleep, being induced naturally, you can add it in your room just so you can have that good sleep.
Is that your
And if
lullaby?
you,
Amma, is that your lullaby?
yes, something like that. When I was young, my mother didn't sing lullaby for me, so I think I myself, I'm doing that for myself.
It's working. Lullaby
Yeah,
lets
and
people sleep.
it's really working. It really works for me. I tell you, it really works for me. And I also would say that if you are a student and you are fond of taking coffee and all those caffeine, substances, try and do away with it. Like you rightfully said, time management would help you to catch up with that academic level that you want to get to. So get a schedule, get a timetable that you'll be guided by, so that you don't have to rely on caffeine to help you stay awake. So you burn the night candle or whatever that you would want to burn. And also, it will be very important, like I said earlier, sleep is in such a way that the pattern you give it, it would follow and follow it through and through. So if you are supposed, that is why I so believe in the boarding house system, because I feel they understand these things, and that is why they put in some measures. And my dad was always saying that if I had gone to the boarding house in SHS, it would have been different. He believed in these structures. And teachers also go through these kind of trainings to know that you need siesta from school, you need this amount of sleep, you need to now go to class at this time. So I was telling my sister that no, we need to find a boarding house for the boy. I wouldn't want what happened to me to happen to him. So wherever the school is now, school is about you. It's not even about the name anymore. You just have to sit up and learn. You have to sit up and learn. So I was telling her that we have to really find a boarding house for him, because I believe the structures are in place for you to, achieve the academic level that you want. So that is also very important. And then also try and have get some natural light, which I am guilty of because I'm always in my room. But the natural light has a way of, our mind is in such a way that when you receive those natural lights, when it's getting late, it tells it that it's time for you to, give your body some sort of rest. So it's also very important. And exercise, it helps a lot. If you are someone who is having a challenge sleeping, if you are suffering from insomnia, you can just go for a brisk walk around 7:38 and just take a cold shower and you are good to go. You would sleep, you would have a very sound sleep. And I believe that if you are a student, you can also do that. If you have a challenge sleeping, walking to even your hostel or your boarding house, it's hostels, right? So walking to your hostel from the campus is a way of exercise that would help you to have a very good sleep. And the weekend exercises and all that, try and engage yourself in them. Do not stay always and say that, oh, media Germany does, so I don't want, no, 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 no. There are reasons why they put in all of these things. It's just to help you become better. So exercise, it's very, very important that you exercise. So these are some of the measures that I think adolescents as well as the young adults can put in place so that they can have the adequate sleep that they need.
Great. So let me add on. So in my readings, I came across something they call sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene. That's the first time I was hearing it. So they said one has to practice what is called sleep hygiene, just as we have personal hygiene. So sleep hygiene is, and there are actual things we know. I think they just gave it a name, but there are things we know. So one has to choose a time to sleep and then stick to it. So you sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time. I think you said the same thing earlier on, that the pattern you give is what the body will follow. So it's under sleep hygiene. So you choose a time of sleeping and a time of waking up. And according to the article, it should even include weekends and vacations. So you stick to that pattern. So you're sleeping at 9 and maybe waking up at 5 every day. And that is a pattern you should stick to. And we should also try and choose time frames that gives us the required amount of sleep that we need. So if we say we need 8 hours averagely, it means, okay, when do we want to wake up? We want to wake up at 5, no problem. Then you work your way up backwards. So you're waking up at 5 means you have to sleep around 9 in order to get your 8 hours sleep. So that's something the young ones have to look at and stick to. Choose a sleep pattern and stay to it. They also talk about having a bedtime routine. We do it, but this is why they just try to organize it. Have a bedtime routine. So when it begins to train your brain. So just about you sleeping, you have to brush your teeth, you have to cleanse your face, read your Bible, pray. So once you start doing these activities, it tells the brain that, okay, sleep time is coming. We do it, but it's organized this way. So that was also something useful I came across. And then, yes, we've talked about exercise. We are supposed to avoid the electronics to prevent the blue light. And also, this is also something we know, but maybe we do avoid drinking alcohol or even beverages or water just before bedtime. So you want to have a good sleep just before you sleep. That's not the time you're going to drink your water or beverage or even eating, because indigestion can disrupt your sleep when you begin to sleep. And also you visit the washroom because you have drank a lot of water or some beverage that you need to visit the washroom often. And they also talk about maintaining healthy weights, because those who are obese are prone to sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a condition. It's a medical condition, actually, that people who are obese as they sleep, they tend to, their breathing ceases in a way, and then it will pick up again. So when one is not breathing well, it will actually wake them up from sleep, like gasping for air. So maintaining a healthy weight will prevent sleep apnea so that you don't disrupt your sleep when you are sleeping. And also, this is a common thing we all know, switching off our phones or putting it on silent. You want to sleep, that's the time somebody will be calling you. Maybe that call cry is not important. So unless you are on a night shift or you are expecting a very important call, ideally your phone, if you don't want to switch it off, that's fine. I don't switch my phone off. I put it on silence. So during the period I'm sleeping, you can call my phone to ring 1,000 times. It's ringing, but it's on silent, so I won't hear. It's when I wake up that I will see the missed call and know which one to attend to. So we will encourage the young ones to do that, because some people sleep with their phone by them and it's on, and somebody will just call at random and just disrupt the sleep. So that is what I found, and I'll just add to what you've said. So let's look at what we just looked at, what the individual is supposed to do to ensure that he or she is sleeping well. Now, we want to look at what parent or guardians should do to help, because it's a collective effort. So individuals are doing this. Parents, what are they supposed to do to support their young ones? We talked of supervision earlier on. What else are they supposed to do?
Yeah, so I will just hammer on the supervision. It's very, very important in that if they will be able to regulate their screen time, it is you, the parents, that will help them to regulate that by setting up some rules for them to be guided by. So as parents, you have to sometimes be, soft, small, but you have to also be firm with your decisions, just so they wouldn't feel like, oh, we can do away with anything. So the supervision is very, very important. And then also, it is very important that you, as a parent, you put in some structures at home that will make sleep very comfortable. If you are a parent that you come home and you have on the TV very loud, you have students at home, and it's now that you're coming to watch soccer and be shouting, it wouldn't help such a child at home.
Mm-hmm.
If a child, I made mention of the fact that you have some nice bed sheets and all that. Adolescents are not working and they can't afford that. So it is your responsibility as a parent to provide these things for them. Provide the mattresses for them that will make them comfortable to have that quality sleep. So you have to ensure that the home is very conducive for adequate sleep. And if you are someone that is also fond of drinking at home, taking alcohol and all that, you are gradually teaching that child to do that. And by the time you realize, when the child picks up that habit, it would prevent them from having the quality sleep that they need. So there are certain things that we have to also put in place. And then also we have to ensure that we are open about, when we are talking about, maybe when a child is having difficulty in sleep, we should create that safe space where the child will be able to talk to you about it. It could be that there is a challenge they are going through and they've not been able to come up to say it for you to help them. So when you create that safe space, it would help them to talk, and then you as an adult would come in to help them find some solutions. And I believe that if we are able to take care of that situation, they would have that sound sleep that they need. We made mention of the fact that they have long screen eyes. For you as a parent, it is your responsibility to ensure that the screen time is being guided. You can give them, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And now, too, with the way our buildings are, your child might not be going to other people's homes and all that. So it is the screen, it is the tablet and all that they will be playing with. So you might not be able to deprive them of it totally, but they should have some time frame that they'll be guided by. So maybe when you learn for these hours, you can play with your tablet for these hours. It should be guided. And like I said, you need to be very firm on it. Even though you are trying to be positive, you need to be very firm on it. And also try your possible best to do away with the caffeine substances at home, because if it's available, they will make you use of it. So far as it's at home and parents are consuming it, they are learning. Adolescents or young people learn by watching more than what you are seeing. Whatever you are doing is what they will learn. So if my dad is always drinking energy drinks. He's taking these things, coffee, and he's telling me, oh, it smells good, it tastes good. One day when he's not around, I would want to also use it. And so we should be able to, do things that we would want our children to emulate. So these are some of the few things that I feel parents can also put in place to help with the sleep of their children. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Um, so we don't want to go by what we say or do what I say, but not what I do. No, we have to be examples for our young ones. Yes, we are supposed to be mentoring them, so mentor them with what we do. Very important. Good. So, what I also think parents can do to help them is I am always big on this thing, parents keeping television in their children's room. Parents keeping television in adolescent's room, a young person's room. It's not about affordability. No, yeah, television, you can afford a television, but is it beneficial to keep it in that young person, that teenager's room? Is it beneficial? You are having in your room and you are an adult, you know when to sleep. But that adolescent that you are keeping that television in his or her room will not sleep. And these days, they are smart TVs, they can go to the YouTube and all those things on smart TVs. They're able to. So parents should take televisions off their young ones' room if they want them to sleep. We should also encourage them, those that are 18 years and above, they will be in university, so we can only teach them or let them know why they should do it right. We should encourage them to put their phones on silence or switch it off when they are sleeping. That they are older. I mean, this program covers youth too. So anybody above 18 years is still captured here. We have to let them know why they should switch their phones off or put it on silence. I think the silence is the best thing when you are sleeping, so that random calls don't come and distract your sleep. You can have quality sleep. Those that are younger, the younger adolescents, for them, I don't think they have to sleep with their phones. Why are they sleeping with their phones? Honestly, younger adolescents. So we are looking at maybe adolescents. Now people give phones to their children before 10 years, no problem. So whatever age you have up to 15 or 16, maybe actually, why do they sleep with their phones? So parents, you should have this communication with them, just discuss and let them know when they are sleeping, get the phone so that they will sleep, because they won't sleep unless the one that is really, really mature, they know the right thing to do. If not, most of them don't sleep. So take the phone from the younger adolescents and let them sleep. You can buy the alarm clock for them to set the alarm and wake up with it. Daybreak, you give their phones to them. At least you will be sure that they slept. It's better. So that is what I think. So the older ones, we should encourage them to do the right thing. The younger one, we should take the phones from them when they are sleeping. We should also try and sign them up to outdoors activities. You mentioned exercise. True, it helps. It will give them the break from the screen, but it will also work out their bodies to feel tired when they have to sleep. So let's sign them up to outdoors activities and also encourage them to participate, because as they said, you can take the horse, right? They say you can take the horse to the river, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water. So we can sign them up, but they might go, you just go and drop your child and say, oh, you ask him or her to go for an activity. He or she can go and sit there, not participate, and still come home. So whilst we sign them to it, we should encourage them and let them know the benefits. So when they go, they should participate. They will benefit from it. So these are some of the few things I also think parents can do to help our young ones to sleep. So the young ones have their roles to play. They should do what they have to do. We should let them know, and then parents will add their own, and hopefully it should be fine with them. Great. We are getting to the end of, actually, we are at the end of our discussion. So we want to get some final words. These are young people. We always want to give them something to bite on anytime we meet. Alma, what do you have for our young ones today? Some words of wisdom, advice, motivation.
All right. So I would say that sleep is not for the weak, like we've been saying. It's actually for the strong one, or for the strongest of us all. So try and sleep, because it's also an investment, like we just said. When you look at it, even the short term, it has implications, and then the long term too, it has implications. So If you deprive yourself of sleep, gradually you are investing in old age conditions that you didn't even bargain for. So try your possible best to get the adequate sleep that you need as an adolescent. You are not missing out on anything. You will get the grades that you want if you're able to manage your time very well. You'll be able to achieve all that you want to achieve. Do away with caffeine substances and ensure that you are sticking to, if you are in school, stick to the structures that the school has put in place to help you. It is for your own good. If you are at home, whatever guidance your parents are giving to you, try your possible best to adhere to it, because your parents would never give you bad advice. And even if they are not doing it, as you are watching this program, pick cues from what we are saying and then apply it in your life. And I believe that you will have that bright future that you've always craved for. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. I have nothing to add. You've said it all. You said it all. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Viewers, we've come to the end of another episode of Youth Empowerment Series. We believe you have benefited from this useful discussion. Share this video with your contacts and encourage them to sign on to the YouTube channel if they have not yet signed up to. Turn on the notification bell so that when we post a video, you would be notified to check on it. Kindly check on Amadi's Health Hub channel. The channel link will be pinned at the description section. I will encourage everyone to check on it and see the good things she's doing there. And let's go there and benefit from it. Thank you for sticking and staying. See you soon. Bye.